We are taking you into the news right now with the Fox 45 news feed. It's 11 a.m. A new push to keep Maryland's roads safe and protect people from impaired drivers. Coming up, who those who have lost loved ones to drunk driving are calling for change in Annapolis. Getting on the same page, we press Governor Wes Moore about a potential policy rift between him and DJS Secretary Vincent Schiraldi, what the governor is saying about who has the final word. And there is new information about a shooting that led to a rollover crash in Northeast Baltimore, why police are now saying this was a targeted event. Fox 45 News Midday starts now.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News Midday.
Thanks for joining us for Fox 45 News Midday. I'm Patrice Sanders. In your Session 2024 coverage happening today, the House Judiciary Committee is expected to hold a hearing on a bill working to close a loophole in Noah's Law and to help prevent drunk driving on Maryland roads.
He was killed by the exact same crime he was trying to protect us from. Not a day goes by that we don't carry that with us. We get the same thing every year. Promises made, promises not kept.
Supporters have been working to close that loophole since 2017, saying it is costing lives. Shannon Lilly brings us a closer look at the law ahead of today's hearing. Shannon.
Well, we expect family members who have lost loved ones to drunk driving to be outside the State House today ahead of this hearing, and that includes Noah Liotta's father. He's been fighting for this change for years. You'll remember his son Noah here was killed back in 2015. At the time, the just 24-year-old was working as a Montgomery County police officer when he was hit and killed by a repeat drunk driver at a sobriety checkpoint. Noah's Law was passed in 2016 in response, and it requires those convicted of drunk driving to use a breathalyzer ignition lock to start their car. But there's a flaw in the law that's allowing many to slip through the cracks. In fact, right now, if you plead guilty and get what's called probation before judgment, or a PBJ, that means a judge can give you probation without a conviction. And if you don't get a conviction under the current law, the judge doesn't have to mandate that breathalyzer interlock be installed. And DWI offenders are also exempt.
Somebody's mom or dad or brother or sister or friend is going to die on Maryland roads, and it could have been prevented. An ignition interlock is the best thing that can happen for those people that have bad judgment or have an alcohol use disorder.
In 2023 alone, most of the more than 5,700 DUI offenders in Maryland received PBJs and avoided the interlock mandate, as did the more than 4,400 DWI offenders. That's according to Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Now, last year, the bill working to close that loophole came down to a race against the clock on the final day of session. Ultimately, though, it failed to pass. So supporters are hoping for a different outcome this year. That hearing is set for 1 this afternoon in Annapolis. Of course, we will keep you posted with what comes out of it. Shannon Lilly, Fox 45 News, Midday.
Breaking news now. A 19-year-old is dead following a late-night shooting in southwest Baltimore. It happened just after 11:30 last night. Police say the teenager was standing on West Lexington Street near Fremont Avenue when he was shot. He ran into a house for help, but he later died at the hospital. As the city sees more young people being caught up in crime, there are new efforts to reform the state's juvenile crime laws. A new crime proposal would extend juvenile probation, reform the Department of Juvenile Services, and expand charges for offenders as young as 10. But some of those bills clash with DJS Secretary Vincent Schiraldi's message on youth crime. During a Your Voice, Your Future panel discussion, Governor Wes Moore was asked about a potential rift between the bills that he's backing and his support of Secretary Schiraldi. Governor Moore not hesitating to tell Marylanders who has the final say.
There was no long-term relationship that sometimes gets advertised. And I think it's also important to remember that the policies that are put out from the Moore Miller administration, let's be clear who the governor is.
Well, Fox 45 News pressed the governor on what those comments could mean for his future relationship with Secretary Schiraldi. Olivia Dance brings us his response.
The governor is making it clear that his team is a unified team with the same goals, but in some cases, the path to getting there appears to be vastly different.
We might have people within the administration who might in other jobs have said X, Y, or Z. We're also very clear that we're one team here, and these are policies that are going to be followed within our administration with me as the team captain.
The governor has laid out his juvenile justice reform plan and one key component for making offenders accountable.
I know that the positions that we have in our administration about focusing on accountability when it comes to our juveniles, about that we are going to be a state that is going to strengthen how we think about parole and probation and not eliminate parole and probation.
But extending probation for juvenile offenders is not exactly what Juvenile Services Secretary Vincent Schiraldi has endorsed. In fact, just 5 months ago, while working in the Moore administration, he published a book which discussed abolishing probation. And then in April, Schiraldi is slated to speak to Harvard law students about the merits of abolishing probation. Governor Moore saying those are not the positions of the Moore-Miller administration. Schiraldi, though, has not commented on the governor's reform package, and he has not indicated a change in his own position. But the governor vowed that by the end of this session, Maryland will have new reforms in place that focus on accountability. For now, reporting in Baltimore, I'm Olivia Dance, Fox 45 News.
Today is Disabilities Day at the legislature. It is a day for advocates to call for lawmakers to expand accommodations and make the state's laws more inclusive. Today, representatives from the Kennedy Krieger Institute are in Annapolis advocating for all Marylanders. Fox 45 will have continuing coverage of session 2024. Our very own Mackenzie Frost will be in Annapolis following every step of this year's legislative session. You can find complete coverage on air and online at foxbaltimore.com. 11:06, and here's a look at today's top trending stories. Trending number one, Baltimore County Police close a domestic violence investigation allegedly involving Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers. Flowers was never named as a suspect in any crime, and county police say no charges will be filed. According to the alleged victim, she says Flowers' agent called her while she was reporting the incident to police in Massachusetts. She told police the person involved was an NFL player. Baltimore County Police say they went to Flowers' home for a welfare check, but officials say there was no reason to charge Flowers. Trending number two, city police say a shooting that ended with a rollover crash in a northeast Baltimore neighborhood was targeted. 27-year-old Michael Armstrong of Cockeysville was arrested and charged with attempted first-degree murder. Police say he targeted the female driver after an argument. She remains in the hospital. Trending number three, a big announcement about the light rail. The MTA is getting a $213 million funding boost so it can replace all 52 light rail train cars. The funding is part of President Joe Biden's infrastructure plan. Trending number four, some good news to share. A German Shepherd puppy who was found behind a Target over the weekend has a new home. It's the officer who found her. And Arundel County Police say Corporal Rains felt an instant connection with the dog, and he says that he hopes to eventually adopt her. Well, Gen Z is packing up and moving. Coming up, the one state that is seeing the biggest influx of Gen Z. And Elon Musk is claiming success when it comes to the first brain implant test. The progress he's announcing as calls for evidence grow louder.
And we are looking at a bright and sunny afternoon ahead of us with highs making a run for the upper 40s to near 50. I am tracking another weather maker for the end of the week. I'll let you know exactly when that arrives and what that means for the rest of the week in a couple of minutes on Fox 45 News Midday at 11.
Fox 45 News, winner of 16 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
11:10 now, and taking a look at your social stream. A major ruling out of Alabama that could end fertility treatments in the state. The Alabama Supreme Court says frozen embryos are children and are therefore entitled to all legal protections, just as a fetus is in the womb. Now, the opinion comes after a 2022 lawsuit in which 3 couples say their fertility clinic accidentally destroyed their embryos. Fertility doctors say the ruling makes it unclear if they can continue with their jobs. The ruling sends the case back to the circuit court for further proceedings. A lot of reaction to this story this morning. Leah says, "I'm sorry these couples lost the embryos they were counting on. That is truly a tragic loss for them. But this case is a Pandora's box. What a nightmarish time it is to be a woman of childbearing age here in Alabama." Another person saying, "So people in Alabama should be able to claim frozen embryos as dependents on their taxes, right? Will pregnant people now be able to collect child support?" A Florida elementary school is dealing with a measles outbreak. A 6th case was just reported. Measles is highly contagious and can be deadly. There is a vaccine that prevents it, but parents have to vaccinate their kids for them to be protected. The CDC says about 92% of all children have been vaccinated against measles. That is below the government's target of 95%. Your reaction? Children should not be allowed in school until they have proof of vaccinations. If you don't believe in vaccines, homeschool your kid. My children are vaccinated and they deserve to be safe from your kid. Another one saying measles is more than just a few spots for some kids. It can cause lasting severe health complications and even death. Elon Musk says the first human participant in his Neuralink brain implant trial study can control a computer mouse with their brain. The chip was implanted nearly a month ago after the FDA gave clearance for human clinical trials in May. Musk has offered few details and no evidence about the outcome of the operation. Here's what you have to say about that. "I would like to see the patient." Another person saying, "I'm not saying this isn't cool, because technically it is very, but how long before this turns into Minority Report pre-thought crime?" Well, still ahead, Starbucks is rolling out a new drink, and it's anything but vanilla. Coming up, where the coffee chain is rolling out a new pork-flavored latte. But first, President Biden is erasing another round of student debt. How much is being forgiven this time? 11:13 now on Fox 45 News Midday. We are back with a live look over the Inner Harbor. Things are warming up after a cool start to your morning, but incoming rain could cool things off. Coming up, meteorologist Amy Aronson timing out the rain for us. In a county under pressure, the Baltimore County Council votes to approve the county's master plan for 2030. This is after a 4-year delay. The plan serves as a guide for future development, recommending the best areas for new housing, construction, transportation, commercial development, all over the next 10 years. But the areas outlined in the plan are sparking some controversy among residents who are worried that the county can't support more development.
There is a big difference between revitalization and rampant redevelopment.
Our schools and our infrastructure are the most important things, that most residents want positive redevelopment in their community.
Baltimore County leaders also withdrawing a controversial piece of legislation that sought to rezone certain abandoned commercial hubs. Prosecutors in Kansas City are now charging 2 adults with felony murder in last week's shooting just after the Chiefs' Super Bowl parade. One person died and more than 20 others were injured. This after 2 juveniles were detained on gun-related and resisting arrest charges. Police say the shooting was the result of a dispute among several people at the parade. Making headlines today, the families of Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie are set to attend a mediation conference. It is part of a lawsuit in which Gabby's parents claim that the Laundries knew their son had killed his fiancée, but withheld that information from police. If mediation is unsuccessful, the case is scheduled to go to trial in May. President Joe Biden has canceled another $1.2 billion worth of student loan debt. This latest round of relief impacts nearly 153,000 borrowers who are enrolled in a new repayment plan that the administration launched in August. Since taking office, Biden has canceled nearly $138 billion of federal student loan debt for nearly 4 million borrowers. Coming up later today at 4, quality of life crimes continue to push Baltimore residents out of the city. Fox 45 News is taking your concerns directly to Mayor Brandon Scott. Multiple hearings happening today in Annapolis covering topics from controversial book bans to gender-affirming care. Our team of reporters in Annapolis is bringing you the latest developments. Plus, new polling showing the frontrunner in the race for U.S. Senate. We are breaking down the numbers and looking ahead to the election. 11:18. It's time now for today's talking point. Starbucks rolling out a new pork-flavored coffee. The drink will be available in China, and it marks the Lunar New Year. The latte features a braised pork flavor sauce with espresso and steamed milk with extra pork sauce and then pork breast meat, a big chunk of it, for garnish. Mark Clark with Be More Lifestyle is here. Now, you're the one that goes out and eats and drinks and tastes all the things. Would you taste this one?
I think I just lost my appetite. I think I like bacon, but pork and drinking.
This is a step above that, because you would think, okay, they just put a, crispy piece of bacon in it. But no, this is a whole pork sauce and then a chunk of pork on top. I mean,
I just tried. They have a new one out with olive oil in it.
Yes. I would, so I haven't heard great reviews about that either, but I would try that before I would try the other.
This might get my official, y'all play too much conversation. If I need to talk to the executives, I'm going to just get them on the phone and say, y'all play too much. So
we were having this discussion earlier, and they're rolling this out in China. They haven't said whether this is coming here, but maybe there's a lot of, maybe they eat a lot of pork in China. Like, this is a mainstay, and this is not unusual.
It's not coming here, I guarantee you. It's not coming here.
Okay. Because
not that I know.
I wouldn't try it. All right, Mark, thank you. All right, well, some wild weather on the West Coast as meteorologist Amy Aronson shows us California is dealing with some flooding. Amy.
Yeah, they've had a steady stream of rain moving into the region, and this is the result. Flooding, dangerous flooding. This is from the San Francisco area, the Bay Area. That's a lot of water there, and this isn't the only image I was able to find. Here's a look at cars driving through the flooded streets, something, of course, we always tell folks you're not supposed to do, and there goes a bus also driving through the flooded roadways there. Here's one more image of the high water. Looks like that threat of thunderstorms also ongoing. This is on the west Coast. If we take a look at the current situation there, we've actually got that threat for flooding ongoing, not only in the Bay Area, but even down towards Los Angeles. So they are still dealing with that atmospheric river just sending storm after storm into the West Coast, and the result for them, not only heavy rain and flooding, but also mountain snow too at the higher elevations. For us on the East Coast, we're enjoying sunshine. A pretty day ahead of us here. We're currently at a chilly 40 degrees. We make a run for near 50 today. That rain's actually going to return late Thursday, and then after that, turning colder for the start of the weekend. But then next week, we are looking at a little warm up as we say goodbye to February and hello to March. First, let's talk about that weather maker coming through by the end of the week. Doesn't arrive today, actually arrives later Thursday. Thursday afternoon, we see some rain pushing through our region here. That continues overnight Thursday, and then showers will actually linger through early Friday before the system lifts out of here. After that, a secondary cold front sweeps through. That ushers in the cooler air that will take over for the start of the weekend. So for the next couple of days, we've got a little bit of everything. If you'd like the sunshine, take advantage of today. We've got highs close to 50. We are looking at increasing clouds tomorrow, and then that chance for rain by the afternoon and evening. We'll wrap up with a couple of showers and mild temperatures by Friday. Temperatures do take a dip for the start of the weekend, but we're back in the low 50s by the end of it on Sunday. If you like the milder temperatures, just wait. According to the Climate Prediction Center, we are looking at above average temperatures, and this outlook runs all the way through early March. Just in our 10-day forecast, you can see that warming trend coming next week. After we break out the low 50s on Sunday, we are back in the 60s starting next Monday. Patrice?
Looks good. All right, still ahead. Ford is slashing prices on its new electric Mustang. And if you're heading on a trip for spring break, beware. One airline is raising bag fees. We'll see how airlines compare when it comes to those fees. And a big night of all new prime time. First at 8, it's I Can See Your Voice. Then at 9, it's We Are Family. And then it's Fox 45 News at 10, followed by the late edition at 11. 11:22 now on Fox 45 News Midday. 11:25, don't miss this. American Airlines is hiking its checked baggage fee. The new price is $35 on most flights if purchased during online check-in. It's $40 if you don't prepay. It used to be $30 either way. The price of a second check bag has also increased $5. That's now $45. Now here's a look at how the new American fees compare to other major U.S. airlines. The Big Four all allow a free carry-on. With Southwest, your first two bags are always free across the board there. Delta and United both charge $30 for your first bag and $40 for the second when flying domestic. Now, it remains to be seen if Delta and United will follow American with the price tag. American is now the most expensive. Well, Ford is slashing the price of its electric Mustang Mach-E, upwards of $8,000. Sales fell sharply last month, and as of the first of the year, the SUV is no longer eligible for the $3,700 tax credit due to battery sourcing requirements. Well, Bitcoin is staging a surprise comeback. The value of the cryptocurrency has more than tripled to $52,000 since November of 22. As a result, that pushed it past the market value of $1 trillion for the first time since its heyday back in 2021. However, it still remains below its all-time high, which was $69,000. That was reached in November of 2021. Well, it's time now for your lunch break and lunch hotspot. McDonald's is officially branching into the beauty industry. The fast food chain is releasing a McDonald's-themed nail polish set in collaboration with beauty company Nails Inc. The sets are available online and in major retailers. That's all we have for Fox 45 News Midday. Be More Lifestyle is up next. Mark Clark back to tell us what they're working on.
Patrice, we got a hot show coming up. Stick around.
You're watching Fox 45 in Baltimore. Now live from TV Hill, this is Be More Lifestyle.
What's up, Baltimore? I'm Mark Clark, and this is Be More Lifestyle live from Studio A at Fox Baltimore. Lady T is here.
Hey.
Along with author Dion Joyner-Weems in the building. Let me take it right now, ladies. Okay, now, here's the deal. Talk
Happy
about a
hump day.
shock. A woman says her online boyfriend of 3 years asked her to move in with him, only for him to ghost her. After not hearing from him, she finally found out through someone else that he was actually in a 5-year relationship with another woman. Dion,
okay. That's a long time.
shocked, surprised, with the signs. What do you think?
That's a long time.
Yes.
And after finding that out, I don't know what more of a conversation is necessary.
Right.
It's over.
Don't. Shh.
But she's now left with this, like, she has to like pay for this, like, place that they're now supposed to move into.
What?
So she got left with it. So it's kind of like,
got this-
what do you do now? What do you do now? You can't get him. He's done with.
Yeah.
So you can't have him. He's in that 5-year relationship that's probably not going anywhere. They're probably not even
Probably
happy.
not.
Downsize.
Because 5
It-
years and you still
downsize.
ain't getting no ring, baby. Just move on at this point. Move on.
Let's find us a little studio apartment and call it a day.
Find a little
We're all right.
apartment,
Yeah, like you
a
said.
little cardboard box somewhere. Just find yourself somewhere, you know, where you can get shelter
Chalk it up as
and
a
love.
lesson. A mom says she's figured out the perfect gift for kids' birthday party. She says she gets the same thing every time, a gift card to a local restaurant. She said it makes for the perfect parent-kid date, but some online say it's a gift for adults and that kids don't appreciate gift cards.
They don't.
Okay, now,
No, you gotta go to the mom first. You gotta go to Mom of the Year.
First
Mom
of
of
all,
the Year.
Right.
if you've invited my sons over for a birthday party and we bring anything, I expect some gratitude. And we say happy birthday and we keep it moving.
Oh, okay, you want a little
As you
personal.
can see, I'm very...
You want a little
Dion said,
personal.
what we not gonna do?
Oh, you like
There's
a little
no
personal.
shaming. It's
Right.
no shaming,
Okay.
especially when it comes to gifts. So it comes down to the thought. If that's what she believed, that's what she thought, that was her gift, say thank you and keep it moving.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, lady, back to you, Lady T.
Oh, sorry. No, I was caught up because I feel like the gift card is more so for the parent. Because the parent's going to spend that gift card on what the kids need and what they want to take them to. Is that not true?
Well, not necessarily. Well, no, not
what
the parents.
are they going to do with it?
No, they're saying the little. You can
anybody
they can
under
take the
10.
kid-
Yeah, we
the
can go
kid
to
out.
Starbucks together, so
Yeah,
me and my
the
son
moment
can
together.
sit down
That's
and
all.
share
So
it.
it'll still
The
be
family
it'll
time.
still be used
Yes.
on them. So
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't give a kid a gift card. I mean, I just personally would not. But I don't get kids gifts. I feel like the parents deserve the gifts.
Yeah, and Lady T,
because
I love
you
you. We
guys,
do.
because you guys
Wait a
are
minute.
you guys
We
both
deserve
born-
gifts.
Birthday, it's not the parent's
I know.
birthday.
My sister and I, we always say
Technically-
this. We're like, she gets the kids gifts. I get the adults, the parent.
It is
Yeah,
my
you-
birthday.
you
Because y'all
agree with
already
her?
go
It
through
is
so
my
much.
birthday.
Wait
I
a minute.
gave
Oh,
birth
my
and
Exactly.
we
It's
shared.
your birthday.
Don't
It's
worry,
the
kids.
parents'
I'm here for
birthday.
you. Uncle Mark is here for you. I'm fighting
It's
for
the
the
parents'
kids.
birthday. Y'all, look at y'all been through.
A good gift for a kid. Vote on our
They
website
wouldn't know the
right now.
difference anyway.
FoxBaltimore.com/vote. When you get to the website, make sure you click on the lifestyle tab. You can also vote on our Fox 45 News app. At the end of the show, we'll see what everybody thinks. Now, Gen Z is packing up and moving to Texas. National data shows when moving, more Gen Zers pick Texas to call home than any other state. Texas's net gain of Gen Z residents was more than 76,000, followed by California with about 44,000, and Florida was third with 41,000 new Gen Zers. I predicted Florida. I think the warmer climate, tax break maybe, but I think it's probably all about the party. I think it's
I think it's because
warmer.
Beyonce told them to. This ain't
did she
Texas,
say that?
and we ain't hold 'em. You know she got the new Texas hold 'em song. I think Beyonce told us who said they going to Texas. Clearly.
So wait, what's Gen Z? Gen Z is what, like 26-ish?
Kind of.
Okay.
So you're Gen.
I'm a millennial. Don't gen me.
millennial. Oh,
Don't
sorry.
gen me at all,
Don't
baby.
gen me.
Don't gen
That's a
me at all,
t-shirt. Don't
baby.
gen me.
I got
That's a good
offended.
one. That is a good
I got offended.
I go with where it's cheaper. So I would think if you're in your late 20s, early 20s, you're trying to find what's affordable to you. You're not really
In the
thinking
hot
about
weather.
in the hot weather.
But Gen Z does not make good decisions anyway, so it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter.
Hey, Gen Z.
So the
Wait a
poll
minute.
doesn't matter,
Ladies,
baby.
Gen Zs
I'm
are
just a
after you.
guest.
Gen Z's after me
Okay.
because the best things come
I
before
can't be
Gen
mad
Z.
because wow, look at you. That's a little hate, millennial hate.
We don't. I mean, we don't.
Well,
we don't
millennials
bang
get
with Gen
bad talk all the
Zers.
time too, anyway. So.
What are you trying to say?
I love them all. I
Yeah.
love them all.
You
And
don't
they
have
can
a
all-
choice,
and they can
Dion.
all
You have
read.
to love
They
us
can
all.
all read.
They can all. It's
That
upside
part.
down. I was gonna say.
Easy on the
Gen
plug, then.
Z can read that as well.
That's right. Work your plug out.
Run
So
your
coming
plug.
up later on,
She
Dion and
said
Lady T will join us in that book again. Go ahead, honoring your loved ones after they're gone. That's right. Take your minute. We'll talk about how you can create funeral arrangements that are right for your family. But first, coming up, today's Steals and Deals, we'll show you a handy way to keep track of your phone and wallet. Stick around. Great show coming up.
You're watching Be More Lifestyle.
In today's American Steals and Deals, Julie Moran has a simple gadget that will make sure your wallet is easy to find. Here she is.
The following segment is sponsored by Noki.
I just love my KeySmart Smart Card, and you will never lose your wallet or anything that you value again with KeySmart. And I love that it's as thin as 2 credit cards, so you can put it anywhere. Like, if it works for you, put it in your wallet. You can put it in your briefcase. You can put it in a suitcase or a backpack or anything of value that you don't want to lose. Now, say if I drop my wallet in a parking lot, which I've done, I will hear a ringtone once I'm 200 feet away on my phone. And also, if you don't hear it, you'll get an alert on your phone that you've left it behind, and you'll get the exact location. And the smart card uses the Find My iPhone app. It's so easy to set up, and that connects you. And I love that you only have to charge this once a year. The charge lasts for an entire year, so you don't have to keep taking it out and recharging it and redoing it. Well, once I threw my wallet in a garbage can, and if I had had KeySmart, I'd have known where my wallet was before the garbage truck came and it took my wallet away. Then I had to get new credit cards, new license, all of that. It was terrible. Well, right now we're offering 25% off on the KeySmart Smart Card. So we want you to head over to asadeals.com for this absolutely, I just love this, amazing exclusive offer right now.
This Be More Lifestyle segment is sponsored by Shimunek Funeral Homes.
There are many ways to honor your deceased relatives, and it's important to have funeral arrangements that are right for you and your loved ones. With us today is John Evans, General Manager of Shimunek Funeral Home. John, you joined us a few weeks ago, and you're here today to talk about Shimunek Funeral Home's cremation memorialization. Why is it important for people to understand that?
Well, cremation memorialization is just a manner that we're going to celebrate someone's life when cremation is chosen rather than a burial. Cremation is not the event. The event is that time of gathering, and it's important to have for people to get together.
I love it. And so what should people have in mind when planning this?
Really, they just need to know that their choices are limitless. There can be a traditional type of service, or it can be more of a gathering with food and drink.
You know, I chose cremation for my mother, John. Now, you know, most people probably assume cremation service must be held after the cremation occurs. Is that true?
No, not necessarily. As I was saying, some people choose to have the cremation after a traditional service where there might be a viewing, a service either at our funeral home or their place of worship. And then rather going to the cemetery, we would take the deceased to our company-owned all-site crematory. In other cases, people want to do the cremation first and then follow it up with a gathering. But it's important that they have that gathering because we need that time to bring people together, to share, family and friends, to laugh and cry and tell stories.
I know people, you know, take an urn home after cremation, but it's also possible to purchase the cemetery space for the urn, right?
Correct. Yes. Our Dignity Memorial cemeteries have offerings such as ground burial, upright niches, columbariums, benches where the ashes can be placed. It's important to have a permanent placement, I think. Everyone is well-intentioned when they take the urn home, but time marches on and we have our own life circumstances, and those ashes become the responsibility of someone else.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Sadly, I really do. So for those who are interested in the possibility to pre-plan for cremation, just like funerals and traditional burials, can they do that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Contact us at one of our locations at Perry Hall at 410-256-3600 or in Bel Air, 638-5360. And one of our team that helps families in advance will help them with all these decisions. We plan everything in life. The birth of a child, graduations, retirement. Why wouldn't we plan for this?
John, thanks for making this very challenging conversation very comfortable. Thanks again, okay?
Thank you, Mark.
Still ahead, we're talking heart health, how your interest in sports could put you at a greater risk of heart attack. But first, motherhood is a blessing, but it certainly isn't easy. And coming up, we'll chat with a local author on a new book about parenting and the struggles moms face. Stick around.
This is Be More Lifestyle.
All right, everyone, we all know motherhood can be a blessing, but not many people discuss the difficulties that moms face. Joining us now to talk about her book is Baltimore's own author and social entrepreneur, Dion Joyner-Williams. Hello, Dion. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Tiffany.
I know it's been a while.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy everything.
Happy
You have
everything.
you're doing so much. You're mostly known in Baltimore for being an advocate, so many different things. So tell me about this book that you now have.
Okay, so yes, I do wear many hats, but if anyone wants to know the soul of Dion, I found it after having children.
Okay.
Yes, having children can be messy, but there's a blessing in the mess, and I don't believe that we talk about it as much. And there's nothing more powerful than a mother, a woman that owns their voice, because when they do, the world heals. So this is a diary, a declaration of a black woman who said she wasn't going to have children and then wound up having 3 boys in 2 years against the backdrop of Sandy Hook, Trayvon Martin, Freddie Gray, and I found my voice, and it set my whole life into a whole different path, and everyone should be on it.
So you're a boy mom.
I'm a boy mom, yes.
3 boys.
My oldest is 12, the twins are 10.
Oh, wow. So what is it like? What are some difficulties that you face that you would say that other moms have faced as well?
It's one of these things of, you want to raise a child that is going to make a contribution in the world. And it's like, well, what do I bring to the table? And you come to find out, all you have to do is be the best version of yourself, and your children will follow suit. Because it's never about what you say to them. It's always about what they see.
Right.
So it actually forced me to live more boldly because I had an audience. I have 3 boys looking at me as an example of what they expect from the world. So it's a great challenge. It's fun. It's sad. It's reflective. And if you choose to go within, you're going to come out even bolder.
Okay, so why should people buy this book? Why do people need to read that part? Lift it up. What does it say? Why the title? How'd you get the title, that part?
That part, because how many times in conversations does someone say something, you're like, you know what? That part.
Right there.
It was there. There's the truth right there. It's not that difficult. I think we make raising children difficult, but it really is about going back to your childhood, and that can be the scary part. Children force you to look at yourself as the 4-year-old Tiffany.
Yeah.
The 10-year-old Tiffany. How was Tiffany in high school?
Like past traumas. And how it affects
and how
you
much
now.
are you bringing that into your future? And there's a lot of learned behaviors that we should have put down a very long time ago.
Okay.
And your children can remind you of that.
What advice do you have for other moms?
What advice do I have for other moms? To trust yourself and to understand that there is something greater than you. I believe when we walk around shouldering the world, because I say that women are holding the world together with spit, prayer, and paper clips.
Listen, okay.
We truly are.
Yes.
But when we understand what's within us, and whatever name you want to call it, for me it's the Holy Spirit. And I found that when I hit my rock bottom and called out for something bigger than myself, and found out that, wait a minute, we're divinely created.
Now, where can people get the book?
All right, so you can get the book, number 1, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, but if you want a signed hard copy from the one and only Dion Joyner-Williams, go to DionJoynerWilliams.com, period.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you for having
Dion.
me.
Amazing. All right, so next time, you guys, time now for your best weather in America with meteorologist Amy Aronson. Hey, Amy girl.
Yeah, let's head somewhere really, really warm. Why not the Bahamas? Doesn't this look nice? We've got blue skies and sunshine. The beach looks kind of empty, plus some palm trees in the distance there. That is the spot to be. If that doesn't do it for you, how about St. Thomas? That looks nice also. Great place to wrap up the month of February and then kick off early March. Now, if you don't want to head to the tropics, the good news is we've got warmer days ahead of us too. We've actually got 27 days until the start of spring. That's the spring equinox coming up in March, on March 19th to be exact, and warmer days should follow. So here's a look at our temperatures over the next couple of months. We actually kick off meteorological spring March 1st, so right around the corner. 50 degrees is our average high at that point. By April 1st, we're talking average highs in the low 60s, and then by May 1st, average highs in the balmy low 70s, right around the corner. We do have a new weather maker headed our direction this week. We've got to wait a few more days before it gets here. This one will be a rain producer. Looks like rain arrives here later Thursday. We get some showers pushing through Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, Thursday night into early Friday. We are starting off some showers at that point as this weather maker crosses our area. And then we should be drying out and actually cooling down for the weekend behind these cold fronts. Some colder air will be working its way back in for the final weekend of February. Leading up to that, we've got sunny skies ahead of us for the rest of your Wednesday, highs in the upper 40s. We are back in the mid-50s on Thursday, but we are tracking rain by the afternoon and evening. Showers should wrap up early Friday. Friday's nice and mild with highs in the upper 50s before that cool down follows just in time for the weekend. So as you plan ahead your weekend plans, we've got cooler temperatures on Saturday. We're briefly back in the mid-40s, but by Sunday already a little milder, with temperatures bouncing back into the low 50s. If you like the milder temperatures, you're in luck. According to the Climate Prediction Center and our 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, decent chance for above average temperatures all the way through early March. And in the next 10 days, you can actually see that coming too. We've got a brief little cool down for the start of the weekend, but then a warming trend next week. We've got lots of 60s on the way as we head into early March. We do have a couple of chances for rain showers too.
This Be More Lifestyle segment is sponsored by Bayer Aspirin.
Heads up for football fans, cheering for your favorite team could be hazardous to your health. Your risk of a heart attack can more than double when your team is playing. Now here with some important information that fans and the rest of us need to know is heart health cardiologist and author Dr. Suzanne Steinbaum. Doc, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Great, so how does the big game impact heart attack risk?
So, believe it or not, your risk of heart attack doubles when your home team is playing. Let's think about this for a second. You know what it feels like when you are screaming at the television, rooting for your home team. There is just a surge of all these stress hormones, and your heart starts pounding. You start breathing really quickly, your arteries clamp down, your blood pressure goes up. It is the perfect setup for a heart attack.
And why do we hear about people, even athletes, suffering cardiac events even when they're not showing any symptoms?
This is a great reminder that heart disease is the #1 cause of death for both men and women in the United States. And it's due to these risk factors that are silent, that we don't even feel, like blood pressure and cholesterol, elevated sugars, even diabetes. But 80% of the time, heart disease is due to these risk factors, plus others like diabetes, smoking, sedentary lifestyle, obesity, really poor diet, stress, lack of sleep. So knowing your risk factors is the most important thing to do to prevent heart disease.
And tell us, what is the heart health risk assessment tool that you want people to know about?
I partnered with Bayer Aspirin. We are really on a mission to get people to know their risk factors so we can prevent heart disease. You go to the website, checkyourheartrisks.com. It's a real easy 12-question survey. At the end of it, it gives you your risk, low, medium, or high risk. And you take that to your healthcare provider to really start a conversation about how to prevent these risks and ultimately how to prevent a heart attack. The big game is coming. So here's what I want everyone to do. Enjoy the game, but go to checkyourheartrisks.com before the game, get your risk, and talk to your healthcare provider to prevent heart disease.
I love it, Doc. And so is there a final takeaway you want to leave us with, or is that it?
One more. 80% of the time, heart disease is preventable. Go to checkyourheartrisks.com, take the survey, and lastly, enjoy the big game. Take a deep breath. If you start getting a little flustered, just remember, you're not the one playing. Just enjoy it.
Awesome. Great seeing you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yay or nay, a mom says gift cards make the perfect birthday gift for kids, but some online are calling the idea boring. We'll see what you're saying about it coming up.